Hey everybody, welcome to my channel, The Glow Up For Real. I'm Wiz Kalima and I am at work. About my job. So I work for an organization called PFLAG NYC, and the letters in that name stand for Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender People. It is a mouthful, so don't be in the comments talking about, that don't stand for that. Well, listen. In the past, it stood for Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. So LAG, PFLAG. But that was back in 1942, before we even knew that there were bisexual people, that there are transgender people, that there are genderqueer people, and gender expansive people, and pansexual, asexual, all these different identities that they weren't aware were around back in 1972. I said 1942. 1972 is when we started. Yeah, so I'm the program coordinator here. So PFLAG provides support groups for parents, families, and friends of lesbian and gay and bisexual and transgender people, queer people. Right now, I am working on this orientation project that I have been doing for the past couple months, I think. Yeah, the past couple months. And I'm excited, but it's so hard to focus. Like, it's hard because in my job, I have this office all to myself. I'm not the type of person that works really well by herself. I kind of like work well in I work better with a team. So, so sometimes I'm in here and I'm just like going crazy. I'm like, oh my god, I'm alone, and I have to go down to my boss's office just to say hi because I'm so extroverted. It's ridiculous. My boss is awesome. His name is Drew. He is probably the best boss I've ever had and the best boss that exists on the planet. And I'm sure at some point you'll get to meet him if he wants to be on camera. I'm not sure. He doesn't really get this whole YouTube thing, but hopefully I'll make him get it soon. And he'll see how awesome I am in front of the camera. Oh shit. A little part has formed by itself, guys. Yes, I put a lot of gel in my hair today because I don't want to do it tomorrow, so hopefully the curls stay popping so I don't have to wake up early and do my hair tomorrow before I go to this tutoring session. So yes, I have been working on this orientation project where I'm filming volunteers talk about why they're in the program, why they decided to become volunteer speakers. So let me first tell you a little bit about Safe Schools, which is the program that I coordinate. Safe Schools program is an opportunity for people from the community, from our support groups, parents, and families of people who are LGBT. We bring them into schools, middle schools and high schools, and they share their personal experiences with students. So those parents talk about when their child came out to them. They talk about what was their initial reaction. They talk about how they were feeling back then when that happened, because a lot of parents have difficulty when they find out that their child is gay or lesbian or bisexual or transgender. So those parents that want to share their experience of learning to accept their child, they come into the school and they talk about that with students so that students can hear a different perspective that they've probably never heard spoken about so openly before.
Both my straight son and my gay son really appreciate that I'm being there not just for them but for other kids, and that means the world to me.
So that's one side of the program. And then on the other side, we also include people who are LGBT, and they come into the classrooms alongside the parent, and they too share their personal story about coming out. What was that like? What was it like coming out to their parents, to their friends? What was it like going through school knowing that you're LGBT and you probably can't tell anybody because you might get bullied, or you probably can't come out in your house because your parents might not understand?
When I first came out when I was younger, I was told by one of my parents that they didn't want me to talk to my siblings because then my siblings would think that it would be okay to be a gay person. For me, it made me think, well, what if my siblings are running into like gay friends, if they have queer friends, if they have queer teachers, if they have queer employees, if they have queer family members, what does that mean for their lives? Does that mean that they don't know anything about queer people? They don't know anything about their existence? They don't know anything about their stories? And so I started going to PFLAG Safe Schools program because I felt like it was really, really important for not only for my siblings to know that it's okay to be queer and to have queer friends and to know other queer people and that everybody deserves respect, but also to just have other students know that.
So our LGBT volunteer speakers come into schools and they share these experiences, and it's really eye-opening for students, because a lot of them have never met someone so open that they will come into a classroom and talk to students that they have never met about their personal lives and things that they have gone through and things that they have overcome. And that courage in itself is admirable, and the students really appreciate that. The students, they think of it more like a break from lectures, a break from tests and papers and the things that they're doing for the other 5 hours of the day, because we only come in for usually for one period classes. So let's say a 7th grade English class will hear us speak, and then we'll go to 8th period English and then 9th period English, so that the different grades in the school can all get to hear our stories. That's something I really enjoy. So this is probably my favorite job of all the jobs I've ever had in my life. I've worked at some very interesting places. I worked at Rye Playland. That was an experience. I'll story time coming about Rye Playland. Oh my god, yes, because the hours alone were ridiculous, but I'll get into that in another video. I worked at the Bronx Zoo. That was also a pretty good experience, actually. I worked at the Museum of Natural History. All these tourist attractions. Like, my whole life I've worked at tourist attractions, which is great because, you know, we're in New York City, so there's always going to be tourists, which means I'll always have a job. But that wasn't what I wanted to do. It was just a way to make some money. But this I feel like it could turn into a career. I feel like I'm a real adult in my office doing my important work that the company relies on, and it makes me feel really needed. It makes me feel important, and I really, really love it. I love it so much. I just wish it was a full-time position, that's all. That's the only thing. I am part-time here at PFLAG. Which is fine, you know, I work 4 days a week, but you know, the only thing is that it would be really poppin' if it was a full-time position. Then I would be ace, I feel like. But you know, it's a non-profit, you know how that goes. We're all based on donations and grants and all that stuff that is pretty much only in our hands to a certain degree. So I just keep doing the work, and because I know how important it is. I will put the website, the PFLAG website, down below in case anybody is in need of our services. We provide support groups for parents who are having difficulty coming to terms with their child being LGBT, and we also have parents there that are okay with their child being LGBT, but they just want to come to a space and talk about their experiences and maybe wrap their minds around something that they were having difficulty with. Parents that come to our support groups are on all ends of the spectrum. We have parents that are super accepting, and they're awesome, and they're progressive, and they just come to offer their assistance to those parents that need it. And we have those parents that really, really need us, where their mind was completely blown when their child came out to them, and they don't know what to do, they don't know who to talk to, so they come to our support group meetings. We have 4 meetings. We have 4 parent groups. We have our main group, which is basically for parents of kids who have all different identities and of all different ages, and they can come once a month. We have our trans family support group, which is for parents of transgender children who are adolescent age to adulthood. We have our Stepping Stones group, which is a group for parents who have gender expansive, gender creative, transgender, gender queer, all of the above kids who are school age, so 12 and under. And then they have a play group for those kids right next door while the parents are having their meeting. And then we also have our API Rainbow Parents group, which is specific to parents of Asian and Pacific Islander backgrounds. So that we have all these different services that can benefit parents and benefit families who are struggling. And I just think it's an amazing organization, and I'm so proud to work for it. I'm so proud to work here. So right now, like I said, I'm working on this orientation packet for new volunteers, and I'm really hoping that this year we get a whole lot of new, interested, exciting volunteers who are also younger, because one of the things that I'm trying to improve about the program is that a lot of our volunteer speakers are parents. Most of them are parents, and which is cool. It's really great for kids to hear from a parent that isn't theirs, and hear that there's a perspective that exists that isn't their parents' perspective. But we also need some young LGBT people to share their stories. Like, when I come out and I share my experiences with the kids, I'm not that far in age from them, so they see me as somebody who was in their shoes not too long ago. So if someone's in the classroom who might in the back of their mind think, I might be gay, but I don't want to say anything, when I share my story with their class, they are like, wow, maybe I'm not so alone. You know, maybe I can come out at some point. Look at this parent who learned to be okay with their kid, you know? Maybe my parent can learn to be okay with me if they're not already okay with me. So it's a really great thing that PFLAG does, and I feel really honored to be such a big part of this organization. So right now I'm going to continue with this orientation packet. And yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a little dance. Do a little dance. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Okay, so yeah, guys. Like, comment, subscribe this video. Welcome to the Glow Up For Real. I'm still in the early stages of this YouTube channel, so I'm learning more every day. Give me some comments, some suggestions, positive feedback, please, because I am a sensitive individual. So yeah, I love you guys, and see you guys later. Bye.